This episode of Road to AAPEX is sponsored by United Motor Products. Previously on Road to AAPEX.
We're here at Ohio Technical College preparing the Blackwood for the road to AAPEX. Can it come in from this side? Because it's going to hook up back here.
And you can't just throw wheel bearings on without grease.
I'm doing it the old-fashioned way.
It'll be good to see something actually go out and get out into the world.
Well, this is definitely going to get into the world. It's going to go all the way to Las Vegas on the road to AAPEX.
One of the last things I need to do to the Lincoln before we get it on the road is to do an oil change. You know, I don't know how many miles has it been since the last oil change on this, as there is no sticker in the window. So let's go ahead and err on the side of caution, and we're gonna change it. We've got a long journey. We're talking over 25, almost 3,000 miles of driving to make our way to the AAPEX show. So I'm going to change the oil now, take care of it ahead of time, and make sure everything's good. Now, a lot of people have a question, when do I change my oil? How often and why? In 2002, Ford recommended a 3,000 or a 5,000 mile interval. What does that mean? Why do I have two different schedules? Well, do you live in a place that gets below freezing under 32 degrees? If you answer yes, you're a severe driver. Do you tow with your vehicle? You're a severe driver. Do you live in dusty conditions? If you answered yes, you're a severe driver. Now remember, all these things I'm telling you, they don't all have to accumulate. It's one of these that will make you a severe driver. So on this one, I'm going to follow the 3,000 mile interval. In today's oils, those intervals have changed. Oils are better than they were in 2002. Now we can go 7,500, 12,000, 15,000 miles between engine oil change intervals. Quite a jump up from 2002. The last thing I'm going to talk about real quick is the fact that I want to use a quality engine oil. There's a reason you buy quality engine oil. I buy synthetic. Full synthetic costs a lot more than conventional oil. It's by far superior. It has better detergent qualities. It lasts longer. It sticks to the insides of the internal of the engine better, giving a better startup. And that's where all of your engine wear occurs. The most of it occurs on engine startup. This and synthetic sticks to the cylinders and the pistons and all the internals better than conventional oil. So I'm going to use a synthetic, and I'm using 520, which is recommended by Ford, the manufacturer. After we do that, I'm ready to hit the road. Think you need an oil change and you're not sure, you've probably waited too long.
Before we hit the road, we needed to make a trip to Transtar in Brighton, Michigan, just outside Detroit, to put the finishing touches on the Blackwood. Some students from OTC in Cleveland tagged along to check out how all of their hard work added to the final product. With the truck done, the final step was to take the Blackwood back to Babcox to pack up and hit the road.
Drove this thing last?
Probably me.
Good God!
Aishin is a trusted and reliable source for high-quality aftermarket automotive components and technology. We redefine mobility through our broad range of technologies and product lines. At Aishin, we are poised to embrace the future, inspiring movement and creating tomorrow.
When the OE part fails, count on the brand with world-class engineering, precision manufacturing, and more than 100 years of experience. When OE fails, trust Standard. What's in your box?
The entire weight of today's vehicle is supported on a surface smaller than a credit card, inside the wheel hub assembly. With so much riding on it, why would you use something other than OE quality replacement parts? OE quality, premium product. BCA bearings by NTN. Aftermarket Armor introduces a bed liner that has a 4-hour pot life, which is twice as long as the competition, giving you the needed time to complete the job. A proprietary formulated product giving you the best UV resistance, protecting your vehicle from sun fade for years to come. Find out more at aftermarketarmor.com.
We are MPA, Motor Car Parts of America, a global manufacturer of light and heavy-duty rotating electric, brake parts, wheel hubs and bearings, turbochargers, and electrical component testing. MPA, the global leader for parts and solutions.
The first stop along the road to AAPEX takes us to South Bend, Indiana, and to the home of, well, the Fighting Irish, but where we're headed is the Studebaker Museum. Not only was Studebaker one of the original auto manufacturers, but they were also one of the early pioneers of electric vehicles. Let's take a look inside. Nice. That's a nice car right there. Oh yeah, I'd trade the Blackwood for this all day. Back before we had the engines introduced in our carriages, this was a horseless carriage at the time. The cars that came out early resembled very much this old carriage design. Studebaker was in the carriage building business before building cars. They started all the way back in the 1850s when they had their blacksmith shop. So this is, again, what you would see very rudimentary. Large tires. You can see the problems with that being if you had mud or it broke on you. The suspension isn't nothing like what you were used to. It was very uncomfortable ride. This one had, a cover, which was rare. Not all of them had that. It just depends on how much you could afford for your carriage. Started off as this, then that first generation of cars, they really just took a carriage and put a motor on it. And then of course we've evolved from there. So one of the really cool things about the Studebaker Museum is its collection of presidential carriages. They've got quite a few of them here, but the one behind me is one of the reasons that I had to stop. We met Mr. Lincoln last year on Route 66, but this is the carriage that took him to the Ford Theater on April 14th, 1865, where at 10 o'clock he was shot at a play that he was watching. So this is his actual carriage. And remember, the Lincoln Highway didn't start till 1913, and this is what it was named after, was Mr. Lincoln himself. Pretty cool stuff, worth checking out. Hey, found another Lincoln Highway relic over here at the actual Studebaker Museum in South Bend, Indiana. A Presto Light gas tank for the headlights. So Presto Light should ring a bell to you if you know anything about the Lincoln Highway, because Carl Fisher started Presto Light, and they were very innovative in their gas-powered headlights for the cars, which often blew out when it was windy, but it was better than nothing at the time. 1927 Commander, and right on it, this car was driven by Abe Jenkins. New York to San Francisco. Lincoln Highway, right? And at that time, when he did it in 1927, he set the record of 77 hours and 40 minutes way back in the day, and they were setting records like it was Cannonball Run of the early 1920s. You gotta love this stuff.
So what most people don't know about Studebaker is they actually started building electric cars first, after getting out of the carriage business. Between 1902 and 1912, they produced 1,841 electric Studebakers.
Here are some early examples of a 1907. And in 1900 to 1912, a third of all U.S. cars were electric. So seeing this resurgence of electric cars today is pretty interesting because it was already going on that way. About 1912 is when you started seeing most electric car companies kind of giving up. Why? The electric starter. And Henry Ford invented the electric starter, put it on the Model T, and of course that car now was easy to start and much cheaper than an electric car, and it had a little bit longer of a range before they needed recharge. So we're seeing it again. And my friend David's down in Greer, South Carolina right now at Proterra talking about some of the technologies they have in their EV vehicles.
South Carolina is becoming part of what you might call the battery belt of the United States, as evidenced by companies like Proterra at their Powered 1 facility here in Greer, where they're manufacturing tens of thousands of batteries and other electrified powertrain components for fleets across the globe every year to help them electrify their operations. We wanted to find out more about what they have going on here, so we stopped by. We thought we might take a tour and also speak with the company's Chief Business Officer, Chris Bailey, to find out everything that they have under one roof. Come on. Here at Powered 1, Proterra is developing and producing battery packs, electric vehicle powertrains, and other ancillary components that ultimately allow commercial vehicles to be electrified in the marketplace. Propulsion systems, high voltage junction boxes, telemetry units, battery modules, it's all here, all necessary to allow commercial vehicles in all sorts of applications to hit the road and perform their missions every day. And if you're wondering what the demand for these products is like, it's fair to say it's, well, healthy, with this facility alone producing well over 1 billion watt-hours of energy per year. Okay, that sounds like a lot, but what does that mean exactly?
Just to give you a sense of perspective on the gigawatt hour, a gigawatt hour is effectively equivalent to the amount of energy it would require to take one Proterra transit bus to travel around the world 2,000 times. You'll find our products and technologies into a wide range of vehicle applications, Class 3 and Class 5 last mile delivery vehicles, school buses, transit buses, semi-trucks, and even, interestingly, construction and mining equipment as well.
Electrified powertrains may have fewer moving parts than the tried and true internal combustion engine, but that doesn't mean just anybody can manufacture these components. If you're thinking, well, why can't the OEMs just build the batteries themselves? It's because it's not that simple. This is the power of the automotive aftermarket, the ability to center in on technological advancements and innovation that drives whole industries and drives business. This is why this year's AAPEX show is leaning into electrification like never before.
I think we were at the tip of the iceberg in terms of adoption. I think the single greatest force that we'll deal with here over the next, say, 5 to 10 years is just the rate at which we're expecting the market to adopt this technology. And along that way, you'll see certainly a number of new innovations and technologies come to address the various market segmentation, Class 3 and 5 applications, say, versus the semi-truck application. When you walked on the floor earlier today, you get a chance to see essentially a very large-scale manufacturing operation with a tremendous amount of conveyance and also automation as well. There's a tremendous amount of capital investment that's required up front to get that process right. But I'll also say too that we're working with our 5th generation battery technology today. And so we've had a number of reps with this technology that enable us to deliver a world-class solution to the marketplace.
Now, like I mentioned before, Proterra is developing batteries and other EV powertrain components mainly for the commercial vehicle market. These customers are used to running giant diesel-powered behemoths, and the duty cycle, the mission, and the applications of these vehicles isn't going to change if these fleets are convinced to electrify their fleets.
We're at a critical point in the marketplace, and I'd say it's an inflection point in the marketplace where the market requirements and the technical capabilities are now a matched pair. And these are mission-critical applications that are being used in all sorts of vehicle types. And more often than not, those vehicles come back to the depot and they're about empty. And so what you're going to see is that the available energy that needs to be consumed by our customers is much higher in a commercial application than you would see in a traditional sort of passenger car application as well. The other one there too is safety. Right, so certainly there's a number of safety standards in the passenger car market, but you could imagine in applications where we're transporting human beings in either transit buses or school buses, there's a layer of additional safety requirements that we need to be considering to ensure that our product is going to meet those application requirements as well. And then I'd say lastly, the charging infrastructure requirements for commercial vehicles is a little different in most cases than you would see in a passenger car space. In a lot of our applications, there's little time to charge that vehicle. A really good example is we have one customer in particular that I'm thinking of that's using one of our buses with 738 kilowatt hours of energy, which is effectively 7 times the amount of energy you would see in a Tesla Model 3. That vehicle will operate between 18 and 20 hours every day and be given essentially 4 to 6 hours. That's it.
So where is all of this going? How big does Chris think the electric vehicle segment here in North America is really going to get? And where are the biggest growth opportunities?
I think we were at the tip of the iceberg in terms of adoption. I think the single greatest force that we'll deal with here over the next, say, 5 to 10 years is just the rate at which we're expecting the market to adopt this technology. And along that way, you'll see certainly a number of new innovations and technologies come to address the various market segmentation, class 3 and 5 applications, say, versus the semi-truck application. We're also seeing opportunities where both battery electric vehicles and fuel cell vehicles can work in harmony. Every fuel cell vehicle is in fact a battery electric vehicle, just with a hydrogen fuel plant on board. And so we'll continue to see that type of evolution. But I'd say that the number one thing we would expect to see is a combination of rapid adoption of this technology across each of the commercial vehicle segments, as well as the other technological improvements that will come along the way to improve the overall cost, improve the overall efficiency, and improve the overall reliability of those products as well.
Electrification has come a long way in the past 10 years, and based on what we heard here today, there is still plenty of innovation to be had. I, for one, cannot wait to see how things evolve.
United Motor Products has been manufacturing and delivering OEM replacement engine management products for 35 years, trusted by installers for over 3 decades. You can be sure United Motor Products produces and delivers the quality products you can trust. Visit UnitedMotorProducts.com.
Transtar Industries is a global leader in aftermarket distribution with 45 years of experience, offering speedy delivery on transmission, differential, and AC parts through local stocked branches and a national distribution network. Transtar now offers high-quality OE recycled transmissions and transfer cases, a perfect choice for cost-conscious customers. Transtar is continuing to expand product offerings, including brakes, electrical, steering, suspension, and more, helping you to provide your customers with fast, reliable service. Transtar parts are available for online ordering through transcend.us or right through your shop management system. Ordering with Transtar has never been easier. For the ones who demand the best, there's a Coates machine to get the job done right. Precision that never quits. Toughness that defines legends. Coates, engineered to perform, designed to last. Visit CoatesCompany.com to learn more.
Hardworking hands need a hardworking shop towel. Tough on everything from heavy metals and grease to tar and adhesives, Gojo scrubbing towels can be used anywhere heavy-duty hand and surface cleaning is required without water, even on the road to AAPEX.
On the road to AAPEX, I took a 1989 Cadillac Brougham on Route 66 to the AAPEX show. Season 2, I'm taking a Lincoln Blackwood on the Lincoln Highway. You might have remembered I stopped in Joliet last year to meet the Blues Brothers and to check out the famous prison. So what am I doing back in Joliet for season 2? This is why. Lincoln Highway and Route 66 actually intersected right here from 1926 to 1940. And Joliet's such a great place, we figured we'd stop by again. Small town America, Franklin Grove, Illinois. On the Lincoln Highway, we just left Joliet, so you're probably going, what is important and why am I in Franklin Grove, Illinois? I'm walking on the street right now because there's no traffic. But I'm here to meet Ed Kozak, who is part of the Lincoln Highway Association. And we're at their headquarters right now. And as you can see, everything historic is right in front of me right now. Ed.
Hey.
Good
nice
to
meet
see
you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us out here today. So the Lincoln Highway Association, the headquarters is right here, not quite halfway between New York and San Francisco.
Right.
But this is where you guys chose to set up shop. Talk to me a little bit about the association and what's this?
This guy right here?
And the name Lincoln on the building. It can't be about the association because that's 1860, but there's got to be some kind of tie here. So what do we got here?
There's varying numbers on how many of these went up. A high number is about 2,000, a low number is about 1,500. So we can take a number in between there. But they were to guide people along the Lincoln Highway. And again, it's not easy with all the twists and turns of the Lincoln Highway, jogging through all towns like this from coast to coast. You kind of needed markers at critical points to show you, we call them in modern technology, reassurance signs. These were reassurance stones, if you will. And they go really deep into the ground. I want to say about 2.5 to 3 feet are underground here. And so they were built to last. And 1928, so that's about 85 years ago.
Yeah.
They're still here today.
Which is really neat. And again, so, you know, the Lincoln Highway was really truly called the Lincoln Highway back in that time because we didn't have the numbering system on the highways.
It was just coming into vogue at the time that they were putting them together.
So this red, white, and blue and the L, that's what everyone looked for when they were driving it. That's all they had.
And again, the medallions, they weren't cheap plastic medallions. These are metal medallions that were cemented into place here. Again, it was quite an operation to get these all put together. And we like to say that they were all done in one day, but that certainly wasn't feasible. But within a month's time, all these posts went up.
Wow.
And it's unfortunate, less than half exist, maybe less than a quarter exist in their location that they were originally placed.
Yeah, some of them have moved, I've noticed.
Some have moved. And so, unfortunately, trucks, cars, snowmobiles, you name it, have knocked these things over. And we find sometimes people in their backyards happen to have one of these, and then we try to recover them and place them in a proper spot.
So the Lincoln Highway Association kind of disbanded late 20s.
Late 20s for
and you guys restarted back in 1992.
Correct.
And you guys moved here when?
In the 2000s. This building became available, right. It's been around, like I said, forever. It's been since 1860, so it predates the Civil War.
So what a great opportunity for you to get this building and to be able to use it, and it has Lincoln on the name, Lincoln Highway. I mean, this is a perfect fit for the association to use as home base.
Absolutely.
Want to head inside and show us around?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Well, welcome to the H.I. Lincoln building. Wow. Built in 1860, and it's served many, many functions. It's gone through a number of owners over the years.
Okay.
Unfortunately, back in the 70s and 80s, it really fell into disrepair. Talking about falling, the roof fell down on this place. Wow. So, yeah, it really, really needed a lot of work. Enter the Farming Heritage boys that have an organization here, and they own the building, and they said, hey, why don't we do something, you know, it's too nice of a building, too historic of a building to just let it and be torn down. And so they came in and did some restoration to it. And so they fixed up the lower floor, fixed up the roof, then a couple years later, they offered it as a space for the Lincoln Highway Association They knew that the Lincoln Highway was immediately in front of their front door there.
Yeah.
And
perfect fit. So show me around. I mean, obviously it's really old in here, which is neat.
Yeah.
But you got all your merchandise in here.
Right. We use it as a souvenir shop.
Yeah.
Like literally like what would have happened in the Lincoln Highway 110 years ago. You need a place to stop. Dusty roads, long driving.
Yeah.
It's a long road. So this would have been a nice rest stop, a respite for the travelers of the day to stop. And this is how they actually would guide themselves before even the Boy Scout markers.
Yeah.
You'd find a telephone pole or a telegraph pole, whatever you find.
Yeah.
And you'd paint the distinctive logo of the Lincoln Highway, red stripe, white and blue with Lincoln Highway on it. And sometimes it would have an arrow pointing you in the right direction. Sometimes not. It just would say, hey, you're on the right direction.
Okay.
There were tens of thousands of these along the 3,300 mile route. And because remember, you had to do it on both sides, for somebody going east, somebody going west. Literally, you could buy a pin here. You stop for your little break and whatnot. And the people, the council here would say to you, hey, would you like to buy a pin? Help us raise a little money. We're trying to get this road across the country. We're trying to get it paved.
Yeah.
And that was just a little part of what you can do here in Franklin Grove. To this day, we still discover little pieces of road that were part of the Lincoln Highway in a town, and nobody realized that it did go on 12th Street. Somebody found an old map or just knew a grandmother who passed it on to them that, the Lincoln Highway went in front of our house. And so we're constantly updating our map with updates and adding things, changing things around.
That is one of the best parts about being able to travel the Lincoln Highway today is going to your association's website.
Great.
Using the online map where you can also, I was impressed, you even have EV charging stations along the way. So if you are an electric car person, you can have a place to stop and charge your car. And then you have the points of interest and the marker locations as you go. And different little tidbits. Oh, here's a part of original brick portion. And the map is interactive. The fact that you can click on it, it knows where you are, and you can just, oh, I need to turn left up here.
That's right.
Because most people may not know that there was a lot of different route changes. Things would happen over years where they would change the route a little bit, or you had auxiliary routes,
And I can tell you so many stories about just one instance of a family or just an individual, and they might come here, they might come to Dixon, and they looked at Ronald Reagan's home in Dixon, but then, wait a second, this Lincoln Highway signage all over town, and it guides you through here. What's more? I want to learn more about that. And the curious people, then once you hook them a little bit, they want, what? Oh, it goes through all Illinois? No, it goes through all of the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. You have that ambition of people. Some people call us road geeks, or just roadies. Yeah, I am. I think you are as well.
Absolutely.
We just want to see things and learn things. And maybe the best way to summarize it is the Lincoln Highway is an education for people. It's a history lesson, and it's a total education lesson.
And the journey is the destination.
You
know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Ed, it's been a pleasure.
All right, absolutely.
I had a great time out here today, and thanks for showing us around. And, best of luck with the Lincoln Highway Association.
Don't be a stranger.
Right outside Franklin Grove, just a couple miles away. Ed told me to check out Track Road. We're on it now. This is an original 1913 route that has never been paved. This will take us to close to Ashton, Illinois, but this kind of parallels the train track. That's the name Track Road. They told us they put down some new gravel once in a while, but that's about it. We're kicking up dust out here. Pretty cool to be on part of the original unpaved Lincoln Highway from 1913. What a cool little find. I don't think without Ed we would have known about this. Probably pretty close to what it looked like in 1913. I mean, there's nothing here. Just farms and fields and corn and beans. The only thing missing would probably be a steam locomotive right next to us. And maybe a couple horses and plowing the fields. I'm taking my time. It's a leisurely pace here. Top speed of a Model T, Same vehicle that have been cruising up and down here. maybe an old Studebaker. You know, I can't help but think in 1913 or the early automobiles, you know, they weren't the most reliable. There was a lot of breakdowns. You could spend a lot of time fixing your car just as much as you were driving it. And on a road like this, there's nothing around you. I mean, I'm at 2023 right now, and there's nothing around me. Of course, I have cell phones and I have the convenience of a more modern car that's more reliable, but can you imagine in 1913 or 1915 or whatever the year you're driving and you break down on this road? Who's gonna come by? How far is it to the next town? You obviously ain't gonna call anybody, so if you couldn't have the supplies you needed to fix your car there, you might have had to wait for somebody to come by to help you out or give you a ride to the next town. And these towns today are small. They were small back then. But I don't see any old cars lying around here, so everyone must have got helped out at some point to be able to get off this road. And on a road like this, you're not going to be able to travel 20 miles an hour and 25 miles an hour, especially if it rains and it gets all sloppy and nasty and you got an open carriage car, so everything's, you know, all over you. I guess we take the modern conveniences for granted sometimes, but this right here, as I'm driving it, is giving you a glimpse into 100 years ago.
Since 1927, AP Emissions has been your source for complete exhaust innovation. We're your one-stop shop for the exhaust brands you know and the quality you trust. Visit apemissions.com.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers? Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Really? Really. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Today's technicians look to the aftermarket for quality parts so they can turn their bays and get their customers back on the road. BCA Bearings by NTN provides OE quality wheel hubs, bearings, and seals to ensure that when customers come back, they come back for the great service.
TYC develops and manufactures the latest state-of-the-art automotive products of the utmost quality. With the latest in engineering and state-of-the-art robotic manufacturing, TYC products are guaranteed to be of the best quality with exceptional performance. Visit tycamericas.com to find out more.
At 1-800-EVERY-RIM OEM Wheels, with a massive inventory, we buy and sell reconditioned, new takeoff, and used OEM replacement wheels, all backed by over 150 years of combined experience. Text pictures to 951-RIM-TEXT or visit us online at 1-800-EVERYRIM.com. Next time on Road to AAPEX.
The Lincoln Highway goes everywhere. It's interesting to take the trip.
The livelihood and the upkeep that they do to these places, and they're still maintained really well too. The open road is awesome to just clear your mind.
Just when everything seemed to be going so well, Blackwood's in the shop. I figured after a little bit of driving, I'd want to get them checked out.
Good idea.